truly believe we have this victory before this fight. So the victory that we have is bigger than what the show was tonight. Bigger than.
Mike Tyson's coach Rafael Cordeiro has spoken out on the boxing legend's underwhelming defeat against Jake Paul at a Tant Stadium, claiming the fight went exactly as planned.
I'm back with 58 years old, training every single day, and we have situations that you have to go to the hospital. As everybody knows, he spent 12 days in the hospital.
As much as he could, Rafael Cordeiro tried his best to veer away from the question when he was asked, as he was reluctant to admit the fight was scripted. Yet, in the other answers he gave, one could tell that the outcome of the fight was very much expected. Another truth was revealed when attention was paid to the voices of those in Mike Tyson's corner during the fight, who instead of giving him strategies to knock out his opponent, chose to calm him down and instruct him to manage the fight.
You gotta breathe and relax, champ.
Despite the expectations of fans yearning for a revival of Tyson's former glory, he displayed signs of being surpassed by Father Time, as Paul, noticeably younger at 28, dominated the fight. In a fight that was, from the beginning, totally uneven due to the ages of the two fighters, Brazilian Cordeiro was grateful that Iron Mike will now be able to spend a good time with his family after months and months of preparation for this fight that disappointed many fans around the world.
There are little things in the end of the day make a lot of difference. He never asked to give up. He never asked for his heart. Okay, I'm gonna stop. I don't wanna fight. I don't wanna be there. He always, okay, I'm not gonna be there. I'm gonna be there.
The first, that Father Time does not forgive, and Jake Paul's condescension to not hurt a person who is almost 60 years old. We worked for 7 months for this moment. I really believed we had this victory before the fight. He never asked to give up, Cordeiro said. Mike Tyson is the people's champion. He has inspired many people outside the ring. Most importantly, Mike comes home to his loved ones, he added. At the start of the fight, it looked like we were going to see Tyson, who became a boxing legend, as he landed a couple of good punches on Paul's humanity, but that was all the energy Tyson had for the fight. The former champion landed just 18 punches in the 16 minutes of the fight and threw a total of 97 punches, while Paul connected with Tyson on 78 occasions. Netflix viewers and attendees watched as Tyson struggled, but Cordeiro maintained belief in the champ's abilities, highlighting Tyson's unyielding spirit even against someone 30 years his junior. This was evidence of the fact that despite Mike Tyson's subpar performance, there were some parts of his display that was more about the fight being scripted than him being sluggish and finished. The fight revealed early on that it would not meet fan expectations, with Paul apparently holding back his punches potentially out of concern for Tyson. The YouTuber laid his viewpoint bare post-bout, telling press, "Yeah, definitely a bit," reflecting on his win. "I wanted to give the fans a show, but I didn't want to hurt someone that didn't need to be hurt." Despite the matchup's outcome, Tyson mused on lacing up the gloves once more, albeit conditionally. "I don't know. It depends on the situation," he expressed post-duel, as per the Herald. "I don't think so."
Power at all? No. He hit you with one, and you gave him the tongue. Only because the crowd, got turned.
Nonetheless, Tyson felt satisfied with his ring performance, despite the defeat. "I knew Paul was a good fighter," he continued. "I didn't prove anything to anyone, just myself. I'm not one of these guys who goes out to please the world. I'm just happy with what I can do." Meanwhile, Paul disclosed that while he aimed for an unforgettable clash, it boiled down to how Tyson squared off. "I tried to give the best fight I possibly could, but when someone's just surviving in the ring, basically it's hard to make it exciting," admitted Paul. Jake Paul's respect for Mike Tyson.
Turned up, but it didn't actually hurt. But, no one's punches have, really hurt. I got buzzed a little bit against Tommy Fury, but that's about it.
On the other hand, Paul confessed that he was aware at all times not to inflict greater damage on a 58-year-old boxer who didn't need to be hurt. Paul pointed out that from the beginning, he noticed the way in which Tyson's energy was declining. So he decided not to hurt a legend of world boxing and simply give a little show to the almost 80,000 people gathered in the stadium and millions more who watched the streaming broadcast on Netflix.
It didn't hurt. No, I was just off balance when Woodley hit me, but because I was throwing a check hook and I missed.
I wanted to give the fans a show, but I didn't want to hurt someone who didn't need to be hurt, Paul said. Logan, Jake's older brother, told Mailsport, "I think Jake let him live. Tyson is tough. He's proud of himself. He weathered the storm against a young brute named Jake Paul." Tyson was only able to cope with his opponent for the first round, which led to some boos in the arena at Tyson's disappointing condition, who incidentally came into the ring with a brace on his right knee.
And then my chin was open, and then he hit me and I went boom. But it didn't hurt.
So I couldn't really get him to engage me or slip shots and do something super cool or whatever, but I don't care about what people have to say. They're always going to have something to say, and that is what it is. With Tyson's legacy in the sport cemented, it stands to reason that fans might have seen the 58-year-old in the ring for the last time. Meanwhile, Paul is looking to continue making his name in the sport, looking to fight whoever is willing to step in the ring.
Brutal and vicious and most ruthless champion there's ever been. There's no one can stop me. Links to the conqueror, no, I'm the best ever. I'm the most brutal and vicious and most ruthless.
So if people want to see more or this challenge or fight this person, whatever it is, my response to them is just give him a couple more months. He added, "I'm going to accomplish more things in just a matter of months, and I plan on doing everything in this sport that there is to be done." Well, it's not surprising that Rafael Cordero had a slightly different view from the rest of the world. After months of marketing magic, the Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson fight last Friday night turned out to be the ultimate plot twist: disappointment in the main event. In the meantime, Golden Boy honcho Oscar De La Hoya has revealed that he tuned in to watch the fight, and all he felt after watching the 58-year-old fight the 27-year-old was disgusted.
To watch Mike Tyson and Jake Paul?
I actually did. I actually watched it, and I felt, while watching it, I felt disgusted. Disgusted at Jake Paul for
Tyson proved that his glory days in the ring are well behind him. He came out swinging in the early rounds, trying to recapture his old magic, but faded as the fight wore on, ultimately losing via unanimous decision. For many fans, the real victory was that the bout ended without any serious injuries for the legendary former world champion, though his promised knockout never materialized. To top off the melting mess that was the main event, Netflix fumbled its debut in live sports streaming, with buffering issues plaguing viewers worldwide. It got so bad that #NetflixCrash trended on X during and long after the fight ended. But while fans raged at the tech fiasco, Oscar shifted the spotlight to Tyson's age, calling it a mismatch and throwing down a challenge for Jake Paul to face someone from his own stable instead.
For putting this together, knowing that Tyson was 58 years old. See, I'm a fighter myself, and I once tried coming back at 48 years old, and my body just shut down. So when you're gonna...
Speaking to IFL TV during the Gilberto Zurdo Ramirez versus Chris Billum Smith event in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, Oscar De La Hoya didn't mince words about his disappointment in the Paul versus Tyson fight. "I actually did. I actually watched it, and while watching it, I felt disgusted," Oscar said when asked about whether he watched the Paul versus Tyson fight. Disgusted at Jake Paul for putting this together, knowing that Tyson was 58 years old. When you're going to pit a 28-year-old like Jake Paul against Tyson, who is a legend, he's a national treasure, a world treasure, I felt a little disgusted.
To fight a 28-year-old like Jake Paul against Tyson, who is a legend, he's a national treasure, a world treasure. I felt a little disgusted.
Before the fight, he said, "Jake, you're a freaking spectacular marketer, my man. After only a few years in the sport, you managed to get yourself an enormous payday, and you're fighting Mike freaking Tyson. But you're fighting Tyson at 60 years old. This is serious stuff where you can actually hurt an old man. Jake, it adds zero credibility to your resume." I've been saying this for years, that if you want to be taken seriously in boxing, you need to take a different path. Regardless, I will be watching, and I do hope Mike catches you with that left uppercut and knocks you the F out. While concluding his rant during the IFL TV interview, Oscar proposed an opponent for Paul.
not on Mike Tyson. I feel bad for Tyson, but you know what? I'm proud of Tyson. But Jake Paul, hey, if you want to fight Zurdo right now,
Jake Paul, hey, if you want to fight Zurdo right now, let's do it. He will knock you out, Oscar said. Notably, Zurdo defeated Billum Smith via unanimous decision to clinch the World Boxing Organization Cruiserweight title. Meanwhile, former undisputed welterweight champion Terence Crawford has offered his thoughts as well. The fight itself unfolded much as expected, but the mere fact that Tyson stepped back into the ring at 58 was a feat in its own right. The unanimous decision marked the first UD loss of his career, as his previous defeats came by knockout or disqualification. Still, it seems Terence Crawford wasn't impressed, brushing off Tyson's performance with little fanfare.
Let's do it, and he will knock you out.
Oscar De La Hoya, thank you very much. Great week here in Riyadh. Latino night. Hopefully you bring more of these to Riyadh.
We will. We've talked.
I love Mike Tyson, but they give him too much credit. He looked like trash to train that long and only throw 97 punches the whole fight is crazy, wrote Crawford. It's worth noting that Tyson suffered an ulcer flare-up earlier this year, which postponed the fight to November. So, Crawford added, I'm just glad he didn't get hurt out there. That said, after months of intense marketing and hype, the fight seems to have ended in disappointment, much like many of Jake Paul's previous bouts. In all of these, what's most shocking is that Rafael Cordeiro had made promises earlier. Unfortunately, he fulfilled none of them.
Talk to His Excellency. He loves Latino Night, and I cannot wait to bring more to Saudi Arabia.
I can't wait to show Eddie Hearn this here today.
My next one will be red.
Cordeiro, who made his name in the MMA world as a Muay Thai coach at Shootbox before opening King's MMA in California, said Paul is in for a shock at the Atant Stadium in Arlington, Texas. This fight won't be a massacre. It's going to be a very technical match because we have a kid on the other side that can box and isn't afraid, Cordeiro told MMA Fighting. Mike has such heavy hands and it will be impossible not to touch Jake. Jake will feel Mike's hands, there's no other way, and that's when we'll have an idea on how the fight will go. It's going to be interesting to see. Paul holds a 9-1 record as a professional boxer with 6 knockout wins.
Maybe a little bit more time. The situation is going to be a little bit different, so they gave us a really, really bad scenario about his health.
Even though Tyson will be 58 years old by the time he enters the ring, Cordeiro is confident Paul will begin to panic when Tyson's hands start to land. Panic, yay! He will panic, Cordeiro said with a laugh. That's the goal. Our goal is to keep Jake in panic the entire fight, or for as long as he can take it. Cordeiro praised Paul's boxing career, though. He said Paul stopped being a YouTuber a long time ago to become a serious boxer, and reiterated that Paul deserves respect from the combat sports community. He's doing great fights against great champions, facing good opponents, and building a relative good career, not only financially speaking, but in terms of entertaining, Cordeiro said. And on the other side, we have Tyson, who carries many generations with him.
Doing what you have to do. I can see from Mike excitement every day in the training, so you want to bring exactly the same excitement for inside the ring.
Talking about the rules itself, Rafael, how many rounds?
According to Cordeiro, Tyson versus Paul was an official professional boxing match. Tyson's most recent boxing bout, a clash with Roy Jones Jr. in 2020, was declared an exhibition by the California State Athletic Commission. However, the Texas Department of Licensing and Regulation told MMA Fighting that no decision has been made on the July 20th since we have not received any proposed cards and thus have no details about what they are planning. All bouts are subject to review and approval by TDLR. Unlike the first camp, Tyson won't be coming off 15 years away from the ring, Cordeiro said. He's been training ever since, and that makes all the difference. It's going to be good. We still got 4 more months for the fight, so he will be ready.
So we train for, most of the times when we train with 18. So Mike likes to train with gloves a little bit bigger. And then he can throw hard punches without, God hesitate to break something. So he always...
There's the age difference, and there's the factor that Paul is competing more often, but he's facing someone with enormous experience, he continued. Mike doesn't train for some time, and when he returns, the explosiveness, the movement, it's like he never stopped. More than who hits the hardest, it's about the technique. Jake has good boxing. You can't say otherwise. He's winning the fights, and his loss is a split decision to a legit boxer, not a MMA champion, and that shows the kid knows how to box. Tyson and Cordero shared a video days after the bout's announcement showing the boxing legend hitting pads on his first day of camp. Cordero said Tyson is in great shape. He added that a 2023 video showing Tyson using crutches to walk should raise no red flags. He has had a lot of back pain ever since he was a kid, Cordero said.
Nice one.
That was the best we've seen him yet.
We're always taking care of his back in training. He moves a lot to the side, and that takes a toll. And since he travels a lot, he was using that to help him posture up after being on flights for long hours. Former Shootbox head coach and King's MMA founder, Rafael Cordero, has held pads for Mike Tyson for 4 years now. He doesn't need to be told the foam and leather standing between him and oblivion is not enough. After first seeing him, it messed with my shoulder, Cordero said in the video. I couldn't hold mitts for at least 6-7 months with my boys in the gym. My right shoulder was a big mess, and I stopped for a while to take care of my shoulder and do physical therapy. Cordero expects he'll be back to the doctor after July 20th, when Tyson faces Jake Paul at a Tant Stadium in Arlington, Texas.
It's gonna be a rough night.
That's just the price of a training camp that started as soon as talks of a comeback fight picked up, leading to a booking against one of the most polarizing figures in combat sports. You can almost see Cordero's life flash before his eyes as Tyson closes distance, darting his head from side to side before unleashing a series of fearsome punches. On June 30th, Tyson will turn 58. All numbers are not created equal, according to Cordero. Holding mitts for Mike is different, he said. It's different, the way he reacts. It's 1 second from long distance to short distance. Sometimes I say 1, 2, 3 and he's already inside. If I don't move back, oh Lord, it's impossible. I have to move back. The latest videos of Tyson's pad sessions, which have racked up millions of views on social media, were produced just this past week.
I hold mitts for him for 4 years, and I can tell one of the toughest punches that I hold. My swear area, my shoulder after first year.
Cordero said the ex-heavyweight champs team is aligned to help him get in peak condition for the July 20th fight, and he expects an even better performance than Tyson's exhibition clash with Roy Jones Jr. 4 years earlier. There's been plenty of concern about the wisdom of pairing a 58-year-old with a fighter 31 years his junior, YouTuber or not. Cordero brushes off that talk as surface-level anxiety that discredits the experience of Tyson. I believe people don't have to be concerned, he said.
Yeah, I wonder how you feel now compared to when you were fighting.
I feel I don't have to call people bad names. I feel really happy. It'll be a good thing.
We're talking about a guy who was a 2-time champ. The guy didn't have 20 fights in 2 years. He knows how to fight. He fought against the best guys in the world. When he steps inside the ring, he knows what to do. It's not something new for Mike, and this fight is no different. He works hard every single day to go there and try his best to knock Jake out. This is simply his style. Nobody has to teach Mike Tyson how to fight, and he's going to prove in July he's still the same. Mike is going to step in the ring as the old Mike Tyson, and he's going to try to knock Jake out from the beginning to the end.
And I messed with my shoulder. I couldn't hold mitts for at least 6-7 months with my boys in the gym.
Wow.
It was on Mike, his gym. No, sorry, God. My right shoulder was like.
He's already in shape, Cordero said of Tyson. We already started doing rounds in training, so it's amazing to see the way he hits mitts. He's a monster. The only thing I can guarantee, Mike is going to touch Jake. It's going to be impossible that Mike doesn't touch Jake. Let's see how Jake reacts after that. Cordero said he and Tyson respect Paul and don't use his YouTube past to discredit his current work in boxing.
Like a big mess, and I stopped for a while for 6 months. Take care about my shoulder with physiotherapy, and now you're here again. And probably after the fight, we're back to my physiotherapy.
That is crazy. So even after the Roy fight, you were still...
That being said, the longtime coach said he's worked with a lot of fighters, and what he sees from Tyson brings him back to the days where the ex-champ was feared by the world. And that's all for now. For the very best updates on news, moments, events, and actions in the world of boxing, stay connected with us by subscribing to our YouTube channel, and don't forget to turn on notifications to get notified when we drop quality contents like this. Until next time, peace out.